surprised. Miami University, we met a couple times. I did the same thing. Yeah. So what do you think it might be?
My name is Eric Wittig, and I represent the Lindenwold Kiwanis Club. And on behalf of Lindenwold Kiwanis Club and the Hamilton Club, or excuse me, the Hamilton Rotary Club, I would like to welcome you. I'd like to turn it over for the invocation to Dr. John Lewis.
Thank you, Eric. Let us go to God in prayer. Almighty and everlasting God, we humbly give you thanks for our community, for the chance to gather and celebrate the great things that are happening in our schools and places of higher education. We thank you for this wonderful meal set before us and the opportunity to fellowship with one another. We ask that you continue to bless those here this day who have followed the high calling of teaching others. We thank you for our schools, our administrators, our teachers, and all who inspire us to stretch our minds and become more than we thought we ever could be. For we pray in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, John. At this time, I'd like to introduce and turn the meeting over to Kenny Craig, who is President and CEO of the Greater Hamilton Chamber of Commerce.
Thanks for being here. What a large crowd. I think it shows us how interested everybody is in education and how interested everybody is to listening to what our speakers have to say today. I do want to take this opportunity, because I won't be back up on the stage, to congratulate Janet Baker. This will be her last State of the Schools address for the Chamber. And she'll be finishing up 23 years as superintendent of the Hamilton City Schools. So let's congratulate her for that. I want to thank the Chamber's centennial sponsors, the City of Hamilton. Let's give them a hand. Fort Hamilton Hospital, they're here today. Mercy Health Fairfield Hospital. And our newest centennial sponsor, Time Warner Cable Business Class. Let's give them a hand. Please join me in welcoming or congratulating and thanking our event sponsor, Butler Tech. And I want to take this opportunity to thank TV Hamilton, the Journal News, and WMOH for covering the event today. Let's thank them. This past Tuesday, Leadership Hamilton had their economic development class. And as part of that class, the city staff came in and did a little exercise, and class members were asked to rank what they thought was the most important for businesses looking at to locate here and to stay here. And one of the top things that came up was workforce, skilled workforce, and access to a workforce. We think that education and access to a workforce go together, so it's very timely. And with that, we're going to do like we normally do. We have 4 speakers today. Our first speaker is Brian Pendergast, principal of Baden High School. Brian?
Good afternoon. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Rotary Club, Lindenwold Kiwanis, and the Greater Hamilton Chamber of Commerce for the opportunity to speak with you today. It's always an honor and a privilege to be here at this event. We're very thankful to be part of the educational opportunities here in Hamilton. Education changes on a daily basis. The Ohio Department of Education has changed their direction and focus with regard to state testing and graduation requirements several times over the last years. We've seen the 9th grade proficiency test, the Ohio graduation test, and now the end of course assessments. Regardless of the changes, Badin remains committed to our mission to inspire young men and women to achieve their personal best, live the faith, and lead the future. Our students are prepared for their future endeavors. For 95% of those students, that means moving on to college. For a few, that's the military, and for others, that's the workforce. All of our graduates need to be prepared to work collaboratively, utilize technology, and logically solve problems. We do all of this in the context of a faith-based education. We are the only Catholic high school in Butler County. We recognize and embrace students from different faith backgrounds, striving to help each student grow in their faith. Our focus on faith is not just in religion classes, but in all classes, along with service projects and participating in retreats. Faith development is the reason why we are a school. This past fall, we inducted our first class into the Badin Hall of Honor, recognizing alumni, teachers, and friends of Badin for their outstanding accomplishments in society. These individuals exemplify what we strive to instill in all of our students and graduates. Sister Joanne Debwig has served as a missionary in Brazil for over 40 years, working with the poor. She worked side by side with Sister Dorothy Stang, who was martyred in 2005. She is an inspiration to all of us to put our faith into action. Dr. Daniel Fear spent the majority of his dentistry and orthodontics career caring for the children of the Blackfoot Nation in Montana, providing free dental care to their children. He is a perfect example of our motto of serving God, serving others. John Lonnie has been hugely successful as an entrepreneur, building a culinary empire with his brother in Cincinnati and now expanding into other markets. He found his passion at Badin. These are only a few of the individuals we recognized that evening. Our current students continue to excel. Sophomore Lily Baumgardner has been named a youth ambassador for the Southwest Ohio chapter of the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. Jackie Nolker, a junior at Badin, serves on the Community Meal Center's board. 11 of our juniors went to Somerset, Kentucky the week of Thanksgiving for a mission trip. They worked at St. Mildred's Parish Outreach Center. These students prepared a full Thanksgiving meal for a family, collected clothing and blankets and bedding for the family, along with gifts for the children. This past week, during the extreme cold, we held an emergency blanket drive. Within 48 hours, the Badin community donated over 200 blankets, along with scarves, hats, and gloves. These items were then distributed to several local agencies for help for those in need. 55 students participated in our fall one-act plays. Casting for our spring musical has just been completed, and several of our Badin students were part of the Encore Theater production of Grease this past summer. Badin's art department partnered with Inside Out Studios at Liberty Center, matching Badin artists with developmentally challenged adult artists. Their work was featured at an exhibit in May at Miami Downtown, and this project will continue again this year. The football team qualified for the playoffs again this year, and the girls soccer team won their second straight state title. Junior Malia Berkeley was named Player of the Year for girls soccer in the state of Ohio for all divisions. Last year's senior class of 116 students accumulated over $17 million in scholarship offers. And at this point this year, 95% of our current seniors have already applied for college for next year. In the fall, we held our Career Day. We hosted 52 speakers from different occupations, allowing our students to attend 3 sessions to explore careers of interest to them. Academically, we have added a full-time assistant principal for curriculum and academics. We've added robotics and game theory to our technology offerings, and we are approved to become a Project Lead the Way school. Project Lead the Way is a national STEM program, allowing us to offer principles of engineering this year, and we will be adding engineering design next year. Badin has made the commitment to provide free ACT and PSAT test prep to all of our students through an online program on Naviance. And we're happy to report that our average ACT composite test score went up by a full point over the last 2 years. We are blessed to have terrific students who are already making a positive impact in our community. We've been working on a campus master plan that will set the stage for addressing our facilities needs. Currently, we're evaluating several projects that would enhance our campus to better prepare our students. Enrollment continues to increase each year, and we fully expect this to continue. We now have students from 22 different zip codes. This is a direct result of the terrific faculty and staff we have, the excellent students who attend Badin, and the supportive parents and alumni who promote Badin in the community and to prospective families. If you haven't had a chance to stop by Badin recently, please stop in. We'd love to show you all that we have to offer. On behalf of the faculty, staff, and students of Badin, I would like to thank you for the support and the encouragement that all of you provide for all of the schools. Thank you for your time today, and God bless. It is now my pleasure to introduce Bill Miller, Superintendent of Butler Tech.
I was told 7 minutes and I could have anything that Brian didn't use. That was only 4 minutes and 55 seconds. So I got a little extra time. I want to start with two general announcements. First of all, I hope all of you are aware we are building a bioscience facility on I-75 right off of Cincinnati-Dayton Road. It is moving along through a lot of work, a lot of meetings. We are scheduled to open August of 2015, and we are very excited about the progress that's being made on that. My second general announcement is the fact that if I interest you in what I say today, we have open house at D. Russell Lee on Route 4, at the School of the Arts at the old Journal News building, and at the Natural Science Center in Monroe tonight, starting at 6 o'clock. We would love to see you in our facilities. Come out and experience what it is that we're offering and see how we're educating the students of Butler County. From the state of the school perspective, I am on a crusade. And I've been saying this to anybody who will listen. Currently, societally, we celebrate a career pathway that goes from high school to college to a profession. That is a tremendous career pathway. But what I am finding is that if I have a career pathway that takes you from high school directly into a profession with an emphasis on continuing education while you're in that profession, that sense of excitement disappears and goes away. What I want to propose to you is that we need to celebrate both of those pathways equally, because for some students, one pathway is extremely appropriate, and for other students, the second pathway is extremely appropriate. So as I'm here in front of you, and if I come and talk to any of your organizations, the celebration of both of those pathways is very important. And obviously at Butler Tech as a career technical institute, we truly believe that we're preparing students for the pathway of high school into a profession and then continuing their education. From a bigger picture standpoint, Columbus has really been busy with career technical education. Coming out of there, we have House Bill 487. A couple of components of that. One states every school district must provide career technical education to students enrolled in grades 7 through 12. I will tell you from Butler Tech's standpoint, that's pretty exciting. Every student 7 through 12. To support that, they have a career advising expectation. Every student in every school district has to have a policy where they are going to provide career advising, career preparedness as their students move through their schools. A third piece to this is that there's a requirement for what are called student success plans. These plans will be written for students who are at risk of not graduating. When that is identified, they will meet with that student. Part of that discussion is career technical education and how it can meet the needs of that student. So we have a call for career technical education in every school 7 through 12 with career advising, with specific plans on students who are struggling to move into that realm. I would tell you from the state of Butler Tech, we are working very hard to be the first best option at working with all the associate schools in providing those options and making those a reality. There's a third piece of 487, and Brian kind of referred to it as the fact that there are now multiple levels of graduation requirements. You have to pass end-of-course exams, or you have to pass probably what's going to be the ACT at a certain level, or the third piece states you will pass an industry-recognized credential or state license and score at a certain level on a workforce readiness employability assessment. Again, very exciting for Butler Tech that you're going to have an option of coming out of the schools with a recognized industry credential and take that pathway of moving from high school into a profession and continue your education. And our ability to move in and do that is something that we are looking at again on a consistent basis in how we work with our schools to get that. It all comes together in a package. Career Tech 712 with Career Tech advising, support systems in place to help that, and we are now part of the graduation system. But what the state is working on and we're working on is, I don't want that third graduation option to be a default. I can't pass my tests, I'm going to go down here and get a job. When we're talking about an industry credential, it's something that's going to be rigorous, it's going to be something that the students are going to have to put in significant time to gain, and it's going to be a document that's going to send them out into the professional world ready to compete, to work in the job market, and to provide you with a workforce that you're going to be very pleased with. So as we move forward with that, we are extremely excited. So the question becomes, as an organization, how are we doing that? We have an emphasis on career ready, college prepared. If you come to Butler Tech, we are going to identify those credentials. We're going to give you an education that's going to allow you to gain those credentials and move out into the world of work. But what's really interesting now, more and more, the overlap between the academic piece for a career and the academic piece for college, it's meshing. It's no longer greatly apart. So when I'm talking about preparing students and coming out of my organization into yours, I'm talking about preparing students as a high level of thinking. We use the term personalized education. I'm using a heavy emphasis on technology. I'm looking at where you are at on a daily basis, pulling curriculum based on your needs today, and helping you move forward and be successful academically. And because I have you in a program that holds your interest, you're in welding, you're in IT, you're in nursing, I've got your interest, I've got that catch. I'm going to drive you to a higher level of attainment in your academic side. So ultimately it meshes. Career ready, college prepared, at a high level through personalized education. If you come out to Butler Tech tonight at 6 o'clock, you'll hear discussions around those different processes. So again, I am on a crusade. High school, into a profession, continuing your education for the rest of your life. There's all kinds of data that says that's a positive track for an awful lot of students right now in Ohio, in Butler County, and those that we're working with. The other piece that's really positive about that is that that pathway now leads directly into the other part of my organization, which is adult workforce development. So as you come out and you're looking at that credentialing, you're looking at moving in that profession. I have a secondary component, I have an adult component. They both come together so that we hope we are putting forth people ready to walk right out into your jobs and do a tremendous job. So as I leave here today, if you're thinking about Butler Tech, you're thinking about the state of Butler Tech, I'd like you to think career ready, college prepared, and we're the first best option as we're moving forward with this emphasis on career tech across all of the schools here in this region and certainly across the whole state of Ohio. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce Michael Pratt, who is the Regional Dean of Miami University.
Thank you, Bill, and hello, everyone. I also want to thank Kenny and the Greater Hamilton Chamber of Commerce the Rotary and the Kiwanis Clubs of Hamilton for arranging this event and giving us an opportunity to talk to you about education in our community, which is so important on every level. Miami is proud of its long-standing relationship with Butler Tech, Baden, and the Hamilton schools, and we want to expand and deepen those relationships in meaningful ways that are mutually beneficial. We are also proud of our long-standing relationship with Hamilton and the other communities that provide our base of students that benefit from the top-flight education that all of Miami University provides. Speaking of those relationships, today I want to address the concerns that I know many of you share with regard to the current and future relationships of Miami's regional campuses in Hamilton and Middletown with the main campus in Oxford. And before I go any further, I want to recognize a large group of, just put your hands up, a large group of faculty and staff and administrators that are here. And all of these people are part of the ongoing process that the regional campuses have been involved in and are currently involved in. I can best sum up what's going on by saying that the regional campuses are in the midst of a transformative mission upgrade. At the end of the process, Miami Hamilton will still have lower tuition rates and lower admission standards than the Oxford campus. The accessible and affordable route to a Miami degree will still be available to the same diverse mix of students that the Hamilton and Middletown campuses have served for nearly 50 years. The major difference will be those students will have more options to complete a bachelor's degree and limited numbers of master's degrees entirely at the regional campuses. Our students who demonstrate academic success, who want the residential campus experience, or who seek a broader range of academic experiences will still be able to chart pathways to complete degree programs on the Oxford campus. In all these cases, students will be able to complete a Miami University degree with some level of reduced cost. The current process is not about separation or differentiation. It's about distinguishing Miami University's two important missions, that of a highly selective, nationally recognized, traditional and residential university offering a range of degree opportunities that is unusual for its size, and that of an accessible and affordable commuter university offering programs that focus on current and emerging career and business needs of the region. Business, healthcare and wellness, security and preparedness, energy and environmental concerns, community building, and manufacturing and industry, to name a few. For Miami's Hamilton and Middletown campuses, it is a transformative mission upgrade, perhaps a renaissance. Almost 50 years after the creation of Miami Hamilton, the nature of higher education has undergone an extraordinary transformation, and it continues to change at a rapid pace. In creating the University System of Ohio in 2008, the Governor of Ohio and the Chancellor of the Ohio Board of Regents established that the regional campuses would become institutions offering primarily four-year bachelor degrees to focus educational needs and career opportunities in their respective regions. Under Miami's current structure, the growth of bachelor degrees on the regional campuses has not kept up with the demand of our regions. Presently, only a handful of bachelor degrees can be completed at the regional campuses, and most of them are targeted at specific professions, such as nursing, computer and information technology, engineering technology, criminal justice. Last fall, President Hodge convened a task force of faculty, staff, and students representing all of Miami to look at various university models in Ohio and throughout the United States that might be applicable, at least in part, to the Miami context. The task force presented alternative structures and strategies for fiscally viable growth in four-year degree programs at the regional campuses. The task force also presented options for clearly distinguishing the mission of Miami regionals while maintaining the Miami identity. That task force identified issues and challenges associated with various main campus, regional campus organizational structures. The task force also looked at the merits and shortcomings of accreditation under a single Miami umbrella as well as a separate accreditation for the regional campuses, and researched the types of degrees needed in a 21st century regional campus. By types of degrees, I mean traditional degrees such as English, history, biology, and psychology, innovative degrees that address new and growing fields, and a combination of both of these. And I do want to point out, I didn't put it in my notes here, but I do want to point out that the issue of accreditation between whether the Miami and the regional campuses are accredited together or whether the regional campuses have separate accreditation is something that's more meaningful to the internal structure of the university than it is to the way our students negotiate their academic pathways. The regional campuses here and also when I was at Heidelberg before I came here, our regional campus was at part of the time separately accredited from the main campus and then also accredited with the main campus. So that is an issue, but it's not necessarily an issue to fear. Now Miami has a process committee charged with developing specific recommendations and a blueprint for transformation of the regional campuses in Hamilton and Middletown into a four-year institution that meets the needs of our region in the 21st century and beyond. Miami is assuming a role in defining and operating regional campuses that may serve as a model for other institutions in Ohio and returns Miami to the leadership in regional campus issues that we held 50 years ago when we created the first state university regional campuses. While that blueprint has not been finalized, it's likely to include a new academic organization for the regional campuses that would give us autonomy in curriculum development and modification, autonomy in new degree development, and an autonomous governance structure to encompass all current faculty and staff members employed on the regional campuses. It is likely that the restructured regional campuses will report directly to the president, an elevation in the status of our relationship with Miami's senior leadership. The level of change we are facing will certainly change some of the familiarities developed in the last 50 years of regional campus operation. Accreditation and diploma language are important factors being carefully considered during this process. The university is committed to minimizing these difficult changes and making the adjustment as painless as possible while positioning the regional campuses for future success. For our students and parents, current students and those starting an academic program at Miami will be able to finish the program regardless of any of these changes that are put in place as a result of this process. Current and prospective students will continue to follow the Miami Academic Bulletin of their entry year. That's the piece of literature that Miami puts out that is a contract between our entering students and the university for the degree program that they are starting. It's a long-standing policy of the university that will not change. When a student starts a catalog year, they finish under that catalog year. So that is also something that will continue as it has for the last 50 years. So thank you for listening. I'll be around if anybody has any questions afterwards. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce Janet Baker, Superintendent of the Hamilton City Schools, for, as Kenny said, her swan song.
Thank you, Dr. Pratt. You know, I've given a lot of thought about what I wanted to speak to you today about. And as Kenny said, since this was my last State of the School speech, I decided that I'd share some personal thoughts about my career while highlighting some of the truly amazing accomplishments of our school district. You know, my dream of becoming an educator started when I was very young. I'd get together with kids in the neighborhood, and of course, you know how that goes, you play school. Well, of course, I always wanted to be the teacher. But I believe that my destiny for education really began in 5th grade when my 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Urton, called my mom in for a conference. She said she was going in, and I got a little bit nervous about that. And she said, I just want you to know, I think she has a natural talent for teaching. And so my mom said, great, you could be a teacher. I really had to think about that a little while, because what I really wanted to do when I grew up was to be just like Nancy Drew, live in New York City, and write mystery books. Fast forward to 1965, when I graduated from Garfield High School and headed off to Miami University. There was no question about what my major would be. It would be education, and from that time on, I never looked back or questioned my passion. Many of my friends changed their majors 2, 3, 4 times, but not me. I knew what I wanted to do, but more importantly, I knew where I wanted to do it. I accepted my first job in the Hamilton City School District at George Washington Junior High, and here I stand today, 44 years later, announcing my retirement. You know the statement, time really does fly if you're having great fun. But I can tell you today that I couldn't have chosen a more perfect career or a more perfect place to do my life's work. But enough about me, and on to the district. There are so many great moments and memories that I could share with you today, but time is limited. Very early in my superintendency, I had a vision that our district had the potential to be one of the top achieving districts in the state. And that goal was partially realized then when we were named the #1 urban school district in the state by the Ohio Institute. Since then, we have consistently achieved at extremely high levels in our comparison group. I was named the Ohio Superintendent of the Year, and despite the unprecedented changes that are going on in education, our district continues to make academic improvement and demonstrate progress year after year. My highest priority then will always be to ensure that Hamilton students receive the highest quality education. But my vision focused not only on academics, but also on something that I knew could be life-changing: building strong character in our students. A true strength of character that would enable them to be ready for college, career, but more importantly, life. I'm extremely proud that we are one of the first districts in the state to successfully implement a pre-K through 12th grade career education program. And it's because our students and our staff have embraced being good human beings and role models that the district was named the Ohio and National School District of Character. We are the only school district in the entire nation to receive this distinguished award. And we repeatedly receive calls from other school districts across the state that are eager to replicate our program. I believe that Joe Nuxall would be very proud. But success in education is really all about just hiring the best people. I've intentionally invested time and energy into the coaching and mentoring of my administrative team, all who are here today and are truly amazing. I began to create a succession plan a few years back when there were lots of retirements, and I can stand here today and tell you that I believe we've never had a more passionate and competent team. However, one of the most proud and probably fun events was when President George W. Bush signed the No Child Left Behind education bill at Hamilton High School. The significance of this historical event was commemorated by a one-of-a-kind sculpture plaza at the entrance to the high school, donated by the Carruthers family. That same year, I was honored to receive an invitation to President Bush's Economic and Education Forum in Crawford, Texas. Quite an honor and a lifetime memory for me. You know, after that presidential visit, lots of people had lots of questions and were really interested about it. It was unusual that they were impressed by two things. Number one, they said, what was he like? He was extremely gracious. He was excited about signing autographs on big blue hats and t-shirts. And then he turned and kissed me on the cheek, and he said, I want to thank you for the important work that you do every day. What the kids wanted to know is, have you washed that kiss off yet? But perhaps the most visible and lasting legacy is the completion of our master facilities plan, where every school building in the district is brand new or totally renovated. That $250 million took 15 years to complete from start to finish, but I still think of it as a labor of love. I will always be grateful to our boards and the community for believing, like I did, that Hamilton students deserve to be educated in the same state-of-the-art facilities that our surrounding districts had already built. And as I approach my retirement, it's reassuring to me to know that every single child in our community, regardless of where they live, will be educated in a stunning facility, fully equipped for teaching and learning into the future. These facilities belong to you, our community, and they host state competitions, tournaments, fine arts, and community events. But I believe they are a very amazing centerpiece for the continued revitalization of our city. So with all these great memories and accomplishments, what still keeps me waking up at 3 a.m.? It's wondering about the future of public education and how we in Hamilton and educators across the nation can ensure that our students thrive in this fast-paced, rapidly changing educational environment. I do feel truly blessed to have had the unique opportunity to serve as the educational leader in my hometown for 23 years, to give back to an educational system that influenced who I've become today. So how do I close this speech and publicly say goodbye to a career I've loved, a district I'm so immensely proud of, an amazingly talented staff, and supportive board and community? I publicly pledge my lifetime support to the district as I get ready to pass the baton and help transition to the next superintendent. I am very confident that there is a perfect leader, eager and ready to put their personal mark on education in Hamilton. And so today, I challenge you to join me in embracing the next superintendent and continuing to honor and value education as one of our community's highest priorities. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. Our community truly is blessed to have a great network of schools that provide wonderful education opportunities for our kids. Many thanks to all of you that make it happen. I want to thank everyone for coming here today. I hope you all enjoy the weekend. Meeting is adjourned.